Hey, what's up? It's Jim, and I just got back from the new film Dark Skies. A family who's being slowly terrorized by aliens in their house. They first aren't sure exactly what it is, but are soon led to believe through the ever-famous plot device of searching through the internet and doing some research. The mom in the family, Carrie Russell, finds out that they are really indeed being terrorized by aliens very slowly, and that they may eventually steal and kidnap one of their children. In the 90s, there was a lot of alien stuff. You could really get away with any kind of alien thing as long as it was kind of like the X-Files and featured aliens. It's 2013, it's not 1993. Aliens aren't really cool. There's no alien things anymore. And so to do an alien horror movie, it almost feels like they looked at it like, well, we can't do an alien movie that's like unique. And so they thought, what if we take a genre like the paranormal activity genre, which this film is primarily using, and we take that and instead of ghosts, we'll make it aliens. And then it takes elements from other popular horror films like the possession part of it, which was in like the film The Possession, and The Last Exorcism, and I Saw the Devil. And you see, the dad in Dark Skies does this. And the son does that as well, and they do that crazy face that you see in all those possession movies, and they get cameras in the house, so it has kind of a found footage thing with it. That's a bit of a stretch maybe, but there's definitely cameras involved. It's really trying to appeal to you using genres you're already probably sick of. So it's not the most well thought out theory, and I do like when people do a bit of a genre twist. The thing is, this isn't that much of a genre twist. It's just really replacing the ghosts with aliens. It's not doing enough with the aliens. I would call the direction kind of competent, but in a way he's like just competent, because I look at things like the way he does character development with the family. Everyone in the family is like so bland and uninteresting. They're like archetypes of a family. The mom, played by Carrie Russell, is a realtor, but that's about all of her personality. The dad is an architect, and he doesn't have a job right now. That's about all we know about him. The son, who has a Justin Bieber haircut for some reason, is a teenager, and he totally hates his parents because he's rebellious, and the kid is like a kid. And when he's trying to have character development with them, he does that at the beginning, and it feels like he gets that when you're doing a horror movie, you have to really present these people as normal, and then when the crazy shit happens, it's kind of more believable and it will mean more. But this film doesn't really know how to write like people. It almost feels like aliens writing people. There's this one scene where the teenage boy is with this girl, and earlier in the film he watches this porno movie, and he's like trying to put the moves on her, and he just like in the porno movie, and it's a porno movie, so this guy just grabs this girl's breast and he's like, you're a bad little girl, it's a porn, that's acceptable in a porn, but he does that to this girl. That's like his first move. That felt really strange and odd, and there's a lot of moments like that you're like, I don't think people act like that, and it made it laughable to like the audience I saw it with was laughing a lot. There were certain scary elements, and I think, when you eventually see the aliens, which is rather late in the film, so I'll give the director that he held off. And so when you do see them and they're behind someone, which are totally cheap scares, like all the scares in this film are cheap scares. They're the kind of scares a good horror movie would get rid of real quickly at the beginning just to like spook the audience out. Those are the only real scares in this movie, but it does them well. It's just they're not amazing scares. Another problem with this film is just the plot construction, because you clearly have a first act and you definitely have a third act, but in between it just feels like it's slowly building, and then suddenly two things will happen really quick together, and then it'll slowly, and the structure of that seemed a little off, but then it just seems like it's just slowly going through, and you're like, oh, this is going to be like Paranormal Activity or something, and it'll be kind of just a slow, quick conclusion, and instead you have this big third act. It really comes out of nowhere, and it's a little jarring. The writer of this film, who was also the director, Scott Stewart, didn't really exactly understand the kind of plot structure that this film was almost trying to do, but didn't actually do, because there's clearly a third act. there's clearly a first act. I don't really think there was a second act. It just felt like a first act that just kept going. The stakes weren't really, they were kind of raised, but they weren't raised enough to really set up the third act properly. And I think that is a major problem with the film. I don't totally hate Scott Stewart, the director and writer of this film. I think he was certainly kind of onto something. And he kind of came up with an idea, a twist on a genre, and a way to introduce aliens back into kind of a horror film without breaking from the genre norms. But that's kind of his problem, is that he's not really that original. He's going with what's safe, and he's being just a competent director. And he's so competent, it just doesn't have that much style about it. It's just kind of a bland, everyday, kind of boring genre film with just a little bit of a twist. It's just a twist that's not enough to really justify its existence. So if you have seen Dark Skies and you would like to talk about it, then comment below in the comments and subscribe if you would like to.